do a little bit of introduction about myself, talk about my campaign, and then I can open it up for questions. But as Peter Patalia has told you, I'm currently the president CEO of the Alpena Chamber of Commerce. I've been in that position, believe it or not, for almost 9 years. I know people say, "Would you start when you were 3?" But no, it's been a wonderful, wonderful position. Prior to that, I am from Alpena. I was raised in a Catholic family. My parents taught us from a very early age what hard work means and what that could do for us and for our family. I have 3 siblings. They're all married. I have 3 nieces and nephews who I absolutely adore and love to spend time with. I was a graduate of Alpena High School. I went to Alpena Community College for 2 years, got an associate's degree, went to Saginaw Valley State University for a bachelor's degree in communication. Decided I had no idea what I wanted to do at that point, so I decided I wanted to continue on, went for a master's degree at Central Michigan University, and when I was finished with my master's degree also in communication, I was working for the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce and then was recruited by the Alpena Chamber to come back, and that was almost 9 years ago. I am extremely, extremely proud of our accomplishments at the Alpena Chamber of Commerce. Most of the things, and I'll give you kind of the top things I'm proud of, but most of them started with somebody saying, "That'll never work," or "You can't do that." So number one is, and these aren't really in any kind of order, is our economic development. So if you're familiar at all with what's happened in Alpena in the last couple of years and what's happening right now and moving forward, you know there's a whole lot of economic development activity going on. That comes from our office and from the leadership in our office. So we were able to merge economic development after we were told that, oh, we tried that years ago, it didn't work. We were told it would never work. We did it, and it's thriving, and it's incredible. Second is the quality. I'm very proud of the quality that we've provided to the community and to our members. We hold our quality level very high, and we don't stray from that, ever. Our Government Relations Committee, extremely proud of that. I don't know if anybody was aware, we had different issues on and off with some of our truck drivers, and right now we're working on a truck route in our community. Those are just a few small examples of things that we've worked on and we've done a great job with. I'm very proud of that committee. Our leadership training, we know that we have to develop leaders from within, and not just in Alpena, but in this entire region. And so we're very proud of the leadership training that we're not only providing to our members, but now we're also providing in our schools. So we can grow some of our own leaders from within who will maybe come back to or stay in our communities and bring their leadership back when they're adults. Very proud of the other educational opportunities that we've been able to offer. Whatever you think about the Affordable Care Act or Unaffordable Care Act, we were able to, this is just one example of the education we provided. We pulled together a really great series for our members on what that means to them, and we just stay on top of things that are effective and relevant and timely for our members. And then the 2 things that I'm most proud of as what we've accomplished with the Alpena Chamber is our kind of this inspired sense of pride that we've given our community. So Alpena has always thought of ourselves kind of like the stepchild, the stepsister that nobody wanted to see, and no one kind of shoved the stepsister aside and no one wanted to deal with. And we didn't think we deserved the best. We didn't think that we were worth very much. And we have completely shifted that feeling in Alpena, and it's incredible to watch people come out and just say, you know, we just feel so proud to be from this community now, and it's because of this leadership, this incredible leadership. And the second thing is just this whole shift in the community's mindset of people not getting involved and not wanting to try and make a difference. We now have this really supportive community that a lot of people credit the Chamber with doing for the community. People aren't afraid to take risks anymore, so we kind of put our arms around entrepreneurs or the risk takers, and we've really led that mindset, and we're very, very proud of those 2 things. A couple other involvements. I used to be an instructor for Alpena Community College, and I taught some speech and communication courses. I resigned from that several years ago when I started getting too busy with some other things and entertaining the idea to run for office. I'm a member of the Rotary Board of Directors, so also a member of Rotary. I'm an Alpena Community College Foundation trustee. I'm on the Michigan Association of Chamber Professionals Board of Directors, so that's really the professional development for Chambers of Commerce, that board. I sit on that state board. And then I'm also Alpena Public School Board of Education member. That was a decision I made because I was tired of hearing the businesses complain that the product coming out of the schools wasn't meeting the needs of the businesses, and so I thought, well then, I have to do something about it. So I ran for the seat, and I was put on that board at the beginning of last year. I will tell you that I absolutely love my job. I love what I do. I love Northeast Michigan, and it will be very, very difficult for me to leave what I do. But I have to do this. I have to run for office. I feel this drive, and I feel like I've run into enough kind of roadblocks that I would not be able to change from where I'm at. And so I have to go to Lansing and give it a try to see if I can make a positive impact. The reasons why I love Northeast Michigan, two reasons really. One, we have incredible people. So all of the communities that I go to, even not just for this race, but before when I was helping other chambers kind of get started in a different direction or help them develop something, I just kept running into these just outstanding people that were trying so hard, and they would just get knocked down by things, and they're so resilient. It just excites me that I want to work for these people, and I want to stand up for them and kind of be the one pounding my fist on the table for Northeast Michigan. The other reason I love Northeast Michigan is because of the opportunities. So I'm definitely an outdoors person. Hunting, fishing, I love fishing. I posted on Facebook, it's in the top 5 things that I love to do. So just the lifestyle here is incredible. If you can have employment and enjoy this lifestyle, you have the best life in the world. So love Northeast Michigan. It'll be very difficult to leave my job, but like I said, I have this drive. I have to go to Lansing and try this. My campaign is really set on some guiding principles. One of them would be the less government involvement we have, the more successful our people and our businesses can be. So government, get out of the way. I strongly believe, like Peter Pettalia said, very fiscally conservative. Our money should be used responsibly and with great accountability. Stop spending on money. Stop spending our hard-earned dollars on things that were never meant to be under government's control or in their filthy hands. I also believe that education should be accessible, affordable, and effective at all levels. And then I also, and this one's maybe one that you wouldn't expect, but I believe that we can't just throw legislation and money at problems. We have to have creative, out-of-the-box thinking, out-of-the-box solutions. And that's something we've done really well at in the Alpena Chamber, bridging the gaps between government and private sector to make things happen with very creative solutions. So I'm kind of tired of these, well, it's got to be this or that and that's it. No, it doesn't. We have to start with some, we have to allow creativity to sort of flourish, even in government. And then a couple of things on just who I am, and these come from what people have told me. So if you look at my website, you'll see testimonials, but that's where these come from. I'm very personally responsible, and I have a strong passion for inspiring personal responsibility in other people. When I was teaching I taught at Central Michigan and at ACC, but one of the reasons I got frustrated was these classes would come up of students, and I saw this level of personal responsibility kind of dwindling and going down, and that just crushes me. Like, what is your life if you don't have this level of personal responsibility? And I love to inspire that. So I've been on speaking circuits to different classes and different groups trying to inspire that in our youth. I have a very strong sense of community pride. Another thing that I've been told many times is that I'm very authentic. One of the things I'm doing during this entire campaign process is journaling the entire experience, because I want to stay very authentic to who I am and why I'm doing this in the first place. Very, very action-oriented, so I'm the one that if 40 minutes or 45 minutes have gone by at a meeting, I'm the one saying, all right, where's the action? Like, we have to get to some kind of action out of this. Then I'm also very logical. So I've been told for a lot of years I should be an attorney. I don't want to be an attorney, but I've just been told that you can't argue with you're too logical. So that's all about me, probably very quickly, but I'm happy to take any questions that you may have.
What do you know about the bovine TV that's been going around, and the fact that basically we have great land up here for raising cattle, but they can't come up here because we're, is it sequestered? Essentially, Alcona County cannot quarantine, something like that. Yeah, cannot take any anybody who wants to come from down south up here because property values are a little bit lower and establish a ranch. They can't move their cattle.
Yes, I'm very familiar with it. So for the chamber, we worked with a couple of different. We have a farm in Hubbard Lake area that he lost everything, and he had to go back at whatever 50 whatever years old and try and figure out what to do.
Oh, wow.
It's very, very sad. I don't like it. I do think that I don't necessarily have the answer to it, but I'm willing to work hard and try and figure out how to open that back up, because it's not just the cattle, it's with the hunting too. It's not fair. It puts us at a disadvantage to the rest of the state. So it's something I'm willing to work on, definitely. I've been working on it with our farms that belong to the chamber.
Good answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
You mentioned that you've done a lot of great and good things to bring economic development to the area. Can you give me an example of one of those great things that you've done to bring economic development to Alpena?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that in kind of a big picture, then narrow focus. So what we did in the beginning of, I think it was 2012. Actually, it was a couple years leading up to this, but what we realized was that our economic development organization was floundering. They were having a really hard time keeping their doors open. They had one employee, and that person was spending more than half of their time trying to just get money to keep their doors open, the other half of their time trying to actually do economic development. Well, if you look at those skill sets, that is very challenging to find those two sets of skills in the same person. So they were thinking about closing their doors and leaving economic development up to the city or the county or the township. And we said, no, private sector has to be involved in economic development. So we restructured our entire organization to become the umbrella for economic development, bringing together private sector and public sector to fund it. So we took on all the administrative duties, and then we were able now to hire economic development staff. And by doing that, we can look for someone who only has the economic development skills and doesn't have to have the administrative skills. So now we have this phenomenal leader of economic development. He's responsible for, he's an employee of the chamber. He's responsible for the Meyer store coming in when 7 or however many years ago they said to our community, we'll never consider you again, because they had been treated so poorly. So he's responsible for that. He's responsible for the hotel that's going up downtown, the Holiday Inn Express on the river. Our first hotel downtown, our first property on the water, which is, Alpena, we should have a property on the water. He's also responsible for the second hotel going up. He's responsible for the Alpena Power Company building that's downtown. It'll be torn down. They'll start as soon as the snow melts. So those are a couple examples of what we've been able to do. Because of that shift, that creative out-of-the-box thinking, private sector, public sector, it all worked together, and that's what we were able to accomplish. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Nice.
I got it. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know. Anybody?
Where are these located in the Constitution? How is it that taxpayers are forced to pay for these projects you just talked about?
Taxpayers aren't paying for them.
I thought you said you were using government money
No.
mixed in with the
No.
private sector.
So the projects are government, so it's private-public partnerships. It doesn't mean money necessarily. So we have, for example, the hotel. There's different programs that the government might have. Say there's a brownfield program. Whether you agree or disagree with the program, if it's there, we'll use it, because the hotel won't come otherwise. So it's these partnerships that we've created, and it's the only way these projects would happen. And I know some people think government should just be out of it completely, but these things won't happen without a public-private partnership.
Okay.
Yeah, you can disagree, that's fine with me. I just know we've been incredibly successful with it. Did you have a question?
Yeah, what is your stand on providing college education for any student that wants to go to college?
I don't necessarily think that college is the path for every student. So I don't think we should just provide a blanket college education for every student.
Need to get VOTEC back.
Do you have a reason?
Absolutely. Do I have a reason?
Sure.
Well, I don't think that college, that is my reason. I don't think college is for every student. So I think some students can go back and do apprenticeship at.
It's not for every student, it's those that want to go to college. There are those politicians that are saying that we, the public, should be paying for their education. Yes or no?
No, we should not. I made my way through college just fine, and my parents didn't pay for it. I'm doing just fine. So we have to stop giving things to people, and they'll value it more, and they'll appreciate it more and make better use of it.
Too many lazy kids.
I didn't say that.
I did.
I know.
I think there was a guy in the back. Did you have your hand up, sir?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna pick on you, Jack.
Okay.
Isn't there an awful lot of grant money going into
Yes.
downtown Alpena?
No. That is
No?
what people think.
No?
In all of the projects that I mentioned, the only one that has grant money is the tear down of the Alpena Power Company building. There
Center
is,
building didn't get any grant money?
oh, that wasn't a project I mentioned. And
I didn't say it was, I'm just saying money downtown. They didn't get any grant money?
the
What
center
about-
building,
what
I don't
about-
know.
What about, the owl? They didn't get any grant money?
They probably got a facade grant through the
What about
DDA.
the motel, the hotel that you're talking about, they're building down there, right under the water, they didn't get any grant money? That
Other
brownfield
than-
money isn't grant money?
Other than some, like, I don't know if it was brownfield assessment or something, no, they're not getting money to build their property. That's 100% private. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna pick on you.
No, that's fine. They're valid questions, and I don't know the answer to the center building question. And the owl probably got a facade grant from the DDA. But I don't know that for sure. It's money coming, it is, it's coming from local businesses that are locating within the DDA and paying, yeah,
Gentleman up
yes.
How do you, how do you feel about Common Core and the Fed involvement in Michigan education?
I don't like it. We should have more local control. And sitting on the school board, that's my number one most frustrating thing, is we sit there and we try and make things happen. And it's hard to because it's, well, federal government won't let us and state government won't let us. And it's like, well, we know best what would work for our kids.
So there's no way to opt out of it?
Well, no. Alpena's,
I just don't see where they have the constitutional authority to do that.
Yeah, I know.
I
I
don't
just-
disagree with you, but
Yeah.
yeah, so on the school board, that's my number one most frustrating thing. And another reason why I want to do this, because I just don't think it's right.
I cannot figure out how somebody that's 900,000 miles away can tell us what to do up here. I just don't believe it.
It's the same thing in Lansing. I mean, how can one person in Lansing be the expert when it comes to what doctors do and what lawyers do and what teachers do and what, I mean, one person can't be the expert in all that. So to tell locals what they can and can't do, it's frustrating.
I have a question for you. Pure Michigan, I know your predecessor has pushed it, we invested money to get two back in return. Would you continue that program?
There's value to what Pure Michigan has done, but at a certain level, and I don't know what that number is, they could be at it, I don't know. There is a negative return on investment. So you can't continue to shovel money into a program. At some point, it'll have a negative return on investment. Now, there is a study about to come out, and I can't wait to read it, that will actually, they say it's going to show that Pure Michigan has kind of passed its prime. So I'm curious to read it, and then I'll be able to have a better answer for you once I have more of
And
the
what's your feeling on
data.
the concept of Pure Michigan?
I think it was kind of like a kickstart. It was good to get that rolling, but now the people benefiting from it really need to carry that ball and carry the torch forward and invest their resources into it. If it's been that great, then they should all be very healthy. Any other questions?
So you're saying then you would vote to get rid of Pure Michigan if you get a chance?
I didn't say I would vote to get rid of it. I need to look at where that return on investment shifts.
Well, what I meant was to get we the taxpayers off the hook.
For a $36 million budget.
My answer still stands.
Okay.
I have to look at where that shift is, because if it's still definitely giving us a 7-to-1 or 8-to-1 or whatever the number is return on investment, then it's continuing to grow this program. But the purpose of it, or I guess the end result of it, should be to get those who are benefiting from it to be funding that and be involved.
Stand on their own.
It's right. It's no different than giving individuals free things.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Commercial welfare,
Yep,
Corporate welfare.
corporate welfare,
Yeah.
yeah.
commercial.
So I believe strongly in the power of tourism as an economic driver, and if it needs to be kickstarted and get it to a point. And we work very closely with our Convention and Visitors Bureau. We've had a lot of conversations about this, so I'm very, very familiar with the program. Do you have something to say, man? Oh, you just said something. So, any other questions?
You said you feel driven to do this. What exactly is driving you to run for this office?
Because so many things that I've done at the chamber and that we've worked on, you end up hitting these kind of brick walls. And I have things that I have to do for my job at the chamber, and so I couldn't just devote all of my energy to solving some of these things. I'll give you an example of something. So, and maybe you can take this back to Lansing and get it done before you're done. An electrician and I were talking, and he said, okay, so right now the law says that any job over $100, I have to get a permit. So he gave me the example of putting a doorbell in. He said, I'm going to make $30 on that and charge, whatever, $100, whatever it is. He says, so I'm supposed to have to get a permit for that. The permit's $125. I'm making $30 on it. So instead, he's just not getting permits for multiple jobs every week. So why does that even exist? And so we kept running into it. And I could spend my time, going to Lansing and trying to get that changed, but I have other things I need to focus on. So I have this whole growing list of things that would help our communities be able to thrive if people didn't have to worry about all these little nitpicky items. And so that's really the driving forces. Somebody said it this way to me. They said, you can't play the game if you're not part of the game. So in order to get these things done, I have to go to Lansing and work on them from there. I feel like you have a follow-up.
Maybe.
Okay. You want to think about it?
She's about ready to ask you what's your
No,
religious, is your calling
no,
from God.
I just kind of thought that was just a simplistic response. Because there's so much is going on around us in the community and school systems and that. I guess I was looking for something different.
Existential.
I'm just I'm a very tangible person, and that's, my drive is I'm just so passionate about the area. Like, we deserve better. We deserve, and I'm not saying better than Peter Patalia, I'm saying we just deserve somebody in Lansing standing up for us. I mean, I'm tired of just people think, oh, it's okay, it just is. We just deserve somebody getting things done, and I have this 9 years of history of getting things done in ways that people said could never be done. And so do I believe I'm the right person to go with that passion, with those achievements? Sometimes you'll have someone with just the passion, and sometimes just some achievements, but I've got the package of both. I have to put that to use.
So you feel you can fight City Hall?
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Yes.
Good answer.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the #1 improvement that needs to be made in public education in the state of Michigan?
I don't know that there's a #1, but local control.
Well, give me 3 or 4 then.
I'm going to. Local control is very important. Like I said, sitting on the school board, I haven't been more frustrated with anything but this lack of local control. And I don't know that this is something that necessarily can be fixed by the administration or by the teachers, but this, it maybe come down to parenting, I don't know, but it's this lack of personal responsibility. I think that would solve a lot of problems in the education system. And a better economy would give parents a more secure foundation for their children. And so that would be a great solution to help solve some of these problems too. So it's not just about education. If we had a stronger economy, we could definitely do some very good things for our schools.
But you can't change the morality of the system, because if you watch what's been going on with what's being taught in the schools, there's a lot of information going out there that has brought down why you see a lack of accountability. I'm in healthcare, and I've seen the difference. And if you look at certain researchers, you'll see that especially that when they took out, and even in the Constitution of Michigan, it says about the moral religious values being encouraged. That is in our state constitution. You can't even, a child in the state of Michigan cannot pray over their lunch. A senior citizen person, if they're in a HUD subsidized housing, cannot pray over their meal. we have watched the religious liberty and rights of conscience, and especially a person in business, being forced to uphold a sinful behavior. Behavior has been coming, correct, and then those are being forced, those behaviors. School books are talking about things like Heather has two moms. You don't deal with the moral aspect of a society. You cannot have a civil society, nor can you have good government. And those foundations were taught in the public school until 1962. When they removed those foundations, you can see where the decline in morality, teenage pregnancy, drug abuse, and that. No job is going to give somebody moral character. When I talk to people who are from the World War II generation, they said the only person who was on welfare was those who could not work. And what the family did, and even our almost 99-year-old grandmother did, families worked together. And what we see in the decline, being in healthcare, like I said, teachers who've been in the profession for a long time. And I grew up in the suburbs of Detroit.
My video is going to run out in 1 minute.
So let me ask you, and I don't disagree with, we have stripped our everywhere
But
of.
that's been taken out of the public
But let me ask you,
schools.
do you remember the first thing you said?
Do I remember the
Yeah,
first
when you
thing
started
I
that,
said?
do you remember the first thing you said?
About the moral decline. You can't change a system if morality is not
Okay, so
cared with.
that's what I wanted you to say again, is you said you can't. When somebody says that, what that really says to me is it's not that you can, it's that we just don't see how yet. So it's not that you can't, we just don't see how yet. We just haven't figured out how to change it.
Defeated before you get
So,
started.
exactly. So to sit there and say we can't, we just don't know how yet, and we need to work toward that.
No, you misunderstood. These things are actually happening
I know.
in communities around.
And it can be
If
changed.
you do that, then you cannot do that. And if someone asserts their religious liberty and their first constitutional right, they can lose a job, they get penalized, or be suspended from school. That's the part that you no longer